Welcome back to Celi-Yap.
Celi-Yap.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Doran.
And today we'll be talking about family and friends and interacting with all those people in your life after a celiac disease diagnosis.
Yeah?
So, Doran, do you have family with celiac disease?
Yeah, actually, every single person in my family has celiac disease. No, I'm joking. But we're getting there. It's spreading. It's going to happen soon. No, it's just everyone related to my dad. So his mom, his brother, and his children all have it. So
Okay.
my Nana was the first. She was diagnosed before me and my sister were born. Then my sister, then me, and then recently my uncle. So we'll see where that continues. But what about you?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have nobody in my family with celiac disease. I'm an only child, and my dad's an only child, so there's not a lot of family to work with anyways, but I'm the only one. Both my parents got tested after I got diagnosed, and neither of them have it, so it's a complete mystery anomaly. I have no idea where it came from, and I'm always, trying to figure out who has it or if anybody does, but no, it's just me, so that's kind of a different experience. Did your family help you a lot with your journey then, having that built-in community?
For sure. I think I learned everything I knew from my parents, as I can't remember what I've mentioned or not, but
just say it again.
Yeah, they trained us growing up, and we learned a lot about how to fend for ourselves and what gluten is and stuff like that. We learned it like you would learn a language, I think the fact that my sister is also gluten-free and has been my whole life is also really awesome, because I think that really ties us together a lot more than we normally would be. I mean, we're still siblings, so that is there, but definitely I think it helps more that we both have celiac disease. Even if growing up, every single thing we would disagree on. We would not agree on the same brand. We wouldn't agree on the same food. She doesn't like bread anyways. I love bread. It was just a whole issue. I think now, as we've grown older, we've started to kind of agree on some things more. But yeah, it was funny how even though we were still in the same boat, we were still siblings and disagreed and fought, and it was that was still an issue. But
Totally.
yeah, I mean, even though your family is not diagnosed with celiac disease, were they still able to kind of help you along with the journey, or maybe it was the opposite? I don't know what was.
Yeah, it was kind of different, but also kind of the same. Your family obviously wants to support you, but I got diagnosed with celiac disease while I was in college, so I wasn't even living with my parents. So the whole living with them thing has been kind of the more challenging part, just cleaning up after crumbs and all that kind of stuff. But they're obviously very supportive of me through it, but it's definitely been really interesting because the people I know in college, my college roommates, my boyfriend, and all my friends honestly know more about it than my parents, just because they've been around me more. So I kind of have a different perspective on the family thing, but my parents have been very supportive, trying to learn everything and trying to help me go to restaurants and different things like that. But I had to learn more of the advocacy on my own and through social media and different influencers and researching myself, more so than my family. But it's also because nobody has it, so it's kind of a new thing we're all learning together.
It's kind of interesting how we have a bit of an inverse there, I feel then, how how I feel with my family is how you feel with your friends, and then vice versa with friends and family.
Right, I'm definitely more anxious when my parents cook for me than some of my friends. Some of them I still don't really know, but it's all stressful when you have celiac disease. But I definitely am a side eye on my parents when they're cooking for me. I'm like, okay, I'm watching you. I'm watching you just to make sure. But they mean well, and so do friends and stuff. But there are so many times where it still gets messed up when other people cook for you. Do you like to let other people cook for you, or do you let your family cook for you since they have celiac disease, or where do you stand on that?
I definitely let my family cook for me. I mean, they've been doing that since I was a baby, so
Yeah.
that would change things. But Also, it's funny because my dad is normally the one eyeing, like you're eyeing your parents. My dad's eyeing everyone else to make sure. So, like, I think that's kind of like yeah. So I trust them completely. With my friends, it is a different story. I think my closest friends, they understand it, or they should at least. But
Yeah.
there's definitely a couple friends that I unequivocally do just trust because I think I know like they cook a lot, or they understand what it's like, or maybe they do have an allergy themselves, or we've been friends for so long. I think one of my best friends from second grade, like I would trust her to cook for me because I would hope at this point that she knows, and I think she does.
Right.
So, but there are like some friends where maybe I've seen their kitchen, or I've seen the way they do dishes,
Right.
or something like that, and I'm like, so kind of you for cooking for me, but
It's
like
really funny you say that because that's how I feel about my grandmother. She's so kind, but she definitely loves her breads and all her things. And since I got diagnosed later, it's not something she was used to. And I'm like, oh, there are crumbs everywhere. Yeah, I will be getting my own food. But it's funny, we have totally the inverse of like family
Yeah.
versus friends.
But like when something
Yeah.
like that happens to you, when like someone offers to cook something and like you don't know what to do, like what do you do in that situation? Like it's so awkward.
Yeah, I have struggled with that a lot, especially during college, because you're always making new friends and it's
Yeah.
a lot of time new people. I think it's so thoughtful when people want to cook for me, but honestly, I do prefer if they just like were to buy me something packaged. I think it's more
Right.
thoughtful just like to reduce the cross contact or the risks. Just like if everybody's getting dessert, if you're making everybody cookies, like if you bought a gluten-free one, I'd honestly prefer that to like
Yeah.
cooking one. But a lot of times I'll like ask them how they made it, and sometimes that helps because they're like, I made it completely separate. I did all that first. I
Yes.
washed my hands, and then other times they're like, well, I just cooked them, like, and I'm like, okay, well, that is not incredibly helpful. So I struggle with that a lot because you don't want to make other people feel bad, but also the worst thing is to get sick. It's obviously worse to get sick than to make somebody else feel bad, but I feel as though a lot of us deal with that all the time, whether you have celiac disease or other allergies, just like making sure that what other people cook for you is safe. But I think a big part of it is communicating beforehand. I love when a friend is talking to me or texting me. She's like, hey, I'm hosting this dinner. I was planning on cooking this. Does that work for you? Do you want to bring your own thing? Asking all the questions. I love a friend or family member who's
For sure.
proactive in asking that, because sometimes I will feel safe if I talk to them about the protocols of what I would do if I were cooking in a shared kitchen. But at the same time, I sometimes want to bring my own food. I'm a
Yeah.
big bring my own, like, especially for dinner. I'm definitely on the side of preferring that. But I'm always happy to teach people. I love when somebody is asking me all the questions. I know sometimes it can get redundant. Yeah,
For sure.
but
Yeah.
how do you feel? How do you feel about other people, like friends, cooking for you? And would you rather them cook for you, or would you rather just bring your own thing and not have to deal with it?
I think kind of depends on the person, of course. I feel like it always would, but sometimes it's just easier just to bring a microwavable meal, and they have a microwave, and I know that's not going to be it shouldn't be an issue. Unless they
Right.
have crumbs glued to the ceiling of the microwave and it falls off of my food. It should be fine. But I think it really is that awkward moment where someone brings over cookies and they're like, and I made some special ones for you. And you're like, oh, a great, like, how did you prepare this? And like, as you were talking about, and like, it's especially awkward sometimes when it happens, like, maybe at a workplace, or maybe like your boss is trying to think of you, and then it's like, I don't want to like annoy, or I don't want to be respectful. I'm also like, but I think in every situation, the answer is always do what's best for your health. And I think if your health comes first
Absolutely.
completely, and if it is awkward, it's awkward, but that's, I hate to say it, but that is a bit on them for not checking and doing their due diligence to make sure that what they're making is actually safe for you instead of just kind of safe. Like, that's not a thing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, one of my biggest pet peeves is when I ask somebody, "Oh, you made that for me. Is it gluten-free?" Or I'm asking them about it. They're like, "It's probably gluten-free."
Yeah.
I hate probably. I can't do with probably. Just tell me it's wrong. It's okay. I'll get over not being able to eat something. But I hate probably. Oh, is that gluten-free? Oh, probably.
Yeah,
No.
it's probably not any poison in this. You're probably fine at drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Drinking.
Exactly.
No thanks. What other pet
Totally.
peeves do you have on that topic?
I have so many random pet peeves, and I sometimes feel bad for having them, but
No.
I definitely get very annoyed with, I don't know, over asking questions about what they're eating. I want you to ask questions about if you're cooking for me, but it's like, is it okay if I'm eating this? Is it okay if I, just hyper asking all of those questions, especially when people already know me. I'm just like, hey, we don't need to talk about it. I don't like talking about it all the time.
Right.
But also, just if they are eating something crummy, I don't like when they get crumbs over there either. So it's kind of a balance where it's like, no, I don't care if you eat that. But
Yeah.
are you gonna eat it on my food? Are you gonna get crumbs literally everywhere? What are you planning on doing? Is it okay if I eat that? Are you gonna shove it down my mouth? No.
Well,
Let's use common sense. If I'm gonna end up eating it, then no. If you're gonna end up eating it, it's fine. So it's just sometimes I'm like, what are you planning on doing?
speaking of that, I think a lot of times, pet peeve I have is a lot of my friends will to try and get back at me. They'll be like, "I'm gonna shove gluten down your throat," or "I'm gonna and I know I am sure older viewers are gonna watch this and be horrified and be like, "Oh my god, why would your friends joke about that? That's not a friend." But not unfortunately, I don't know. That's just kind of how it is. People make fun of each other when you're close like that, and I do sometimes. A lot of times, my friends will joke about "Well, I'm gonna slip gluten into your meal when you're not looking," or something like that, and I get it, okay, haha, maybe the first time I heard it, but mama, it's gotten a little old now. I mean, how much more can it go on for? And also, I get a little worried, you do know this is, I know we're joking and that's fine, but I also want you to remember that this is serious. I just get a little nervous sometimes when they say that. I'm like, oh, are they, I don't know, but do you agree with that part, or?
No, I feel the same way, and it's kind of just a negative feedback loop because I'll start joking about it. It's my friend, let's set the scene. My friend's like, "Hey, is it okay if I eat this burger?" And I'm like, well, I don't know. Are you gonna put it in my mouth after? Or are you gonna put it on my plate after? And I start joking about it, and then they start joking about it, and then it causes that cycle of oh, well, I'm just gonna put my gluten, I'm gonna put my bread all over your stuff, and I'm just okay, at some point it gets old. I have a couple people in my life who I do think it's funny though, my roommate and a few other people in my close family, or when somebody's serving me, not at a restaurant, but if I'm at somebody's house, they're like, extra gluten for you, that one. I'm like, okay, ha ha ha. It's not even a pet peeve. I know most people have the good intentions, and if I already put myself in the situation there, I'm gonna be safe. But it's just okay, real creative. Let's be creative. That's my advice to the viewers. If you're gonna make a joke, be creative, and also make sure it's known that it's a joke. Because I don't know. Some people also don't think it's funny to joke about, but I don't know. I feel the best way to cope with anything is humor. So I don't mind if you joke about it, but if you just say the same thing, it's I hear that all the time.
Right. I think getting more creative and specific makes it more obviously a joke as well. Because when it's just general, it's okay, but how? Maybe are you gonna But if you're getting very very specific, I'm gonna go pluck some of the wheat fields, and then shove it up your nostrils and twist it a bit, I don't know, something like that. Get a little bit more creative and specific, and then it's very obviously a joke, I think. But also then I feel don't overdo it too much. But yeah.
Yeah, it's better to joke about your own problems than about somebody else's. I feel that's just a good way to go about it. But I'm also curious to what what other people think about joking about celiac disease, because sometimes it can come off in a way where it's hey, it's not a joke, But I don't know. I'm under the impression that it's okay if you're joking about it yourself. I have a question for you. If a friend is cooking for you, or you're eating together and you think you're gonna get contaminated, what do you do? Or if they're hey, this is safe. What do you ask in those awkward situations? Or what do you do to not make it awkward?
Right. I think if I am not sure if it's safe yet, I might ask some more questions about how they prepared it and what they used, and I might even have them take me to the kitchen if we're there. Let's go. Let me look around. Let me snoop. But if I'm like 100% certain that it's not safe, I think probably this might be an issue of mine. Maybe this is something I need to work on. But what I would probably do is politely turn it down and maybe just be like, "Oh, I'm good. Like I have something else, or I just ate, or I'm not that hungry," and maybe just pass on it. But also, there is like a missed opportunity there to educate them. So I think maybe passing on it in the moment and then later talking to them one on one, so it's not as embarrassing for them, maybe. But I'm saying that as I say that now, that I'm also like, you might want to take it a moment to educate everyone else too. I mean, not to be like a teacher and like make an example, but like that's kind of what maybe.
Totally.
I don't know. What would you do? That is tough.
I don't know. It's stressful because sometimes I think that they might know that it's wrong and be scared to tell you, and that's
True.
obviously a hard situation on them as well. If they're like, oh, I totally just reached in to this bag of like gluten chips and then I totally reached into the other one, it's totally a hard position for them to confront you and be like, hey, I contaminated this, or I put that in there, and that's a hard position for them too. But honesty is like, it's safety. I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of the issue with joking about it, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, not talking to your friends about it, is then they're not going to be able to confront you either. So
True.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
It's interesting because I do feel bad for them too, because it's like it's hard that they have to deal with it as well. But obviously, your safety is most important.
Yeah, I would much rather 100% out of every case scenario just tell me and I'll be a little disappointed than not tell me and then I'm feeling it on the toilet and the next day or whatever.
Yes.
Like, that's
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
I think something that's been interesting through my journey of celiac disease, like later in life, is how I've taught different friends about it, because
Yeah.
when I first got diagnosed, I didn't even know how serious it was, and I was like, oh, this is okay, but I've kind of changed my boundaries a little bit as I've gotten to know new people, and sometimes I'm less comfortable with people cooking for me, but I hope that the people who are friends with people with celiac know that we're not trying to be mean, or we're not trying to like
Right.
have too harsh of boundaries or like be over worried about something, but sometimes you just gotta do it, bite the bullet.
Right. And on the subject of teaching friends differently, was it different than to teach your family that? Because you also had to teach them as well. Was there, or was
Yeah.
it just teaching?
I feel guiltier when I have to like correct my parents on something. Like my dad bought me some bars that said gluten-free on them, but they had oats in them and were not certified gluten-free, and I was like, Dad, I cannot eat that. And that was so hard because he was like, hey, you haven't touched these bars I got you. Like, don't you want some? Like, I got them for you. And I feel so much guiltier because they've given me everything, and then I feel guilty because they can't give me that at certain times. But
Right.
yeah, I definitely think I feel more guilty with that, because also with family, it's like it's a sustained relationship that you're always going to keep and always going to cherish. But with a friend, if they do you wrong on the gluten-free stuff, I'm leaving. I'm out. I'm straight out of there. We are probably not going to be best friends any longer. But with my parents, I feel so bad because they're trying their best too. Like, I'm their kid. They want the best for me. With friends, it's like, do they want the best for me? I don't know. Some people care more and some people care less. But I totally feel so much more guilty when my parents do something like that. Or, yeah, using spices that might not be gluten-free. That happened once. My mom, she was like, I'm so sorry I cooked this for you, but
Which
the
spice?
spice isn't gluten-free. It was like a mixed spice that had like a thickener or some type of like wheat starch in it. Yeah, so a lot of places where things can go wrong, but I always
Yeah.
think it's nice when you get something packaged. But
Agreed.
yeah, what about green flags? What about like not pet peeves, things that people do right that you like, friends or family?
Yeah, I think. No, I swear there's
Doran's
stuff.
like, leave me alone. Leave
No,
me
there's
alone. Don't talk
plenty-
about my problems.
There are plenty of good things people do. Well, I mean, friends that stand up for you. I think that's a big thing. I think I don't need you to do everything for me, of course, but like if I'm in an awkward situation and you can tell it's awkward or something like that, or you can tell that I'm being like, I mean, maybe for example, I'm not sure if it's gluten free and I kind of wanted to eat it, but I'm just like, whatever, it's not worth the effort. I'm just not going to do anything. Like that has happened sometimes. And then one of my friends can tell that I like just don't have the energy for it, but I do kind of low key want it. And so then she'll stand up for me and she'll ask, and she knows what to ask because she knows about it enough, like stuff like that, I think. Or for example, calling out another friend. Like if one of my friends is about to contaminate something and my friend goes, wait, did you blah, 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 like stuff like that. I feel like when they're just doing things without being asked to do it and support and standing up for me and supporting me, that's I think the greenest flag you can find in a friend, I think.
Totally. Yeah. I didn't really think about it in the actual situation. I'm always thinking about before and what they can do before. If they ask if they can cook for you or if they ask if you're comfortable with it, I always love that. But I didn't really think about in the situation too, because it can be almost more stressful once you're already there, once you're already in it and trying to figure out what's safe. And the unknown is always the scary part too. So it's always helpful when somebody helps make it known.
Very much that.
Yeah. I also love when I have like a shared dinner with friends and it's maybe buffet style, like tacos or something like that, and they let you go first. And
you need to go
so that it doesn't so that it doesn't get contaminated. But I'll advocate for myself and be like, hey, can I go first? But when another friend is like, hey, Kelsey should go first, she has celiac disease, she can't be cross-contaminated. So I always like when a friend stands up for you in that way, and I've experienced that a lot.
I completely agree. That's actually what we do at my family gatherings, because there's also just enough gluten-free people where it just makes sense. Sometimes the whole Thanksgiving is gluten-free, but typically no, it's just like the stuffing. But since it is kind of buffet style, it's always, my dad's always being like, okay, Mom, Doran, Samara, you guys go first. And and he'll like make sure no one else tries and goes. and then it's nice and safe. But yeah, that I agree. I think that's always nice. But buffet style can get a little scary sometimes because they're all so close together and the gluten isn't like noticeably in a separate place, or the gluten-free isn't, etc. Then that can be kind of scary too, because I'm like, what if just when you're setting it down something falls over, or just like
Yeah. I get more scared that I'm gonna take too much, because I'm not gonna go through the buffet line again. I'm like piling up my plate. I'm like, is there enough for everybody else? I'm taking all I can eat that first time I go through the line.
I love that.
I'm always scared. That's what I'm scared about. I'm like, am I gonna eat the whole food because I'm going through first? Save some for the rest of us.
Oh, you don't have a second plate of that?
Oops. That's my bad. Well, I can always share with them, but they can't always share with me. So
True.
There you go.
True.
There you go.
Yes.
Are there any things? Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Because since I brought up family events, that just made me think about the fact that like it's probably like you used to have to not worry about that anymore. So like, have family events kind of felt different now, and like are they a lot more stressful for you, or?
I think the thing that stresses me out is just the lack of knowledge. Just since I got diagnosed later, like a lot of my more extended family that we only see at the holidays, they haven't taken the time that my parents and closer family have to like research celiac disease and know what boundaries I have set. But I feel like some family members are always trying to get me to eat this. They're like, oh, this is gluten-free. And I'm like, or like even just grapes or something like that obviously is gluten-free. It's just on the counter though. I'm not eating that, and they don't understand it. So that's definitely changed. And, you know, I have some younger cousins, and this hasn't happened yet, but I'm always scared. I always just make mac and cheese when I go places. It's just easy. All you need is water. You're fine. I'm always scared my younger cousins are going to be like, she has mac and cheese. You know, that hasn't happened yet, but I'm always nervous about that. It's like, okay, but I can't eat any of the other things. But it's definitely changed the nature of family gatherings, but also like it's about family, it's not about the food. So
True.
But yeah, I kind of just stick to mac and cheese, and I always go to the grocery store whenever I land somewhere if I'm traveling, and that's the first thing I do. And I always try to get something I'm excited to eat just so I don't feel left out. But it's definitely really weird with family getting diagnosed later. It's totally strange, especially with those family members you only see so often.
Right.
Because they don't know, and that's okay. They don't need to know. It's not their job. But also, I'm happy to educate them too. So
Yeah.
it's a weird balance of that. I don't want to go on and talk about my problems the whole family gathering, but I will.
Celi-Yap is actually moving to a live version at Kelsey's family gathering next. We're just gonna sit there and just complain about
We're
our
just gonna
issues.
sit there and complain. Yes, exactly. Or when they forget, like they forget so much because it's new. It's okay,
Right.
but they'll be like, "Oh, can you have this? Oh, wait, you can't have that. Oh, can you?" I'm like, "Okay." They're like,
I feel like
do
it can't be
potatoes
that
have
hard.
gluten?
It cannot be that hard to remember what gluten is. Like, I feel like all you have to really remember is wheat, barley, rye, malt, and then oats sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
boom.
I can't with when they ask potatoes. Corn, I'm like, okay, corn is kind of like actually a grain. I understand when they're like, is corn gluten free? I'm fine answering that one. Are potatoes gluten free, guys? Come on. We need to do better than that. That actually makes me so sad.
I have often heard people ask me about fruits before, which is just wild to me. Like, you clearly have
Oh
no
my
clue what the hell
goodness.
gluten is if you're asking me if fruits have gluten. But that's okay. It's just a chance for me. And honestly, as much as we joke about this, I do want them, I'd rather they ask than assume, because if you assume wrong, that's really bad. And so it's good that you're trying to learn about it. But it does get a little, like, kind of annoying when it feels so silly and obvious, and for us at least. I don't know.
Right. And also, if you do care, you can research it on your
True.
own as well. There's a lot of good information out
Like
there.
on
You
Beyond
gotta
Celiac.
stay away. Yeah. Like on Beyond Celiac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to
Learn about the gluten-free
beyondceliac.org.
diet. Yes. Yeah. The one thing, like, that I do appreciate, though, is my parents supporting me when we go to the big family things. They're like, Kelsey is not going to eat with us. Kelsey
Right.
is going to eat separately, or when they say that. My mom especially, she just bought me my own air fryer.
Oh.
And yeah, so we're locked in. We're learning. We're going through it. It's been like 2.5 years, finally getting more stable, and I've yet to use it. I don't know what to cook in there.
I have
but we'll
never used
figure
a
it
single
out.
one of those. They freak me the hell out. I am to an air fryer what like my grandparents were to a microwave. Like I see that air fryer and I'm like, keep that away from me. Like that's like alien technology and I have no interest in it. It freaks me out.
Comment
Like
below how to use an air fryer and any gluten-free recipes you can cook in there.
I just like don't get how it's not like what are they just like throwing oil around in there? Like what's happening? I'm just
I don't know, but in mine, crumbs will not be thrown around because it's my own gluten-free air fryer.
And if they're
so.
crumbs, it'll be from corn flour or tapioca flour
Yes.
or rice flour or something safe.
Right, which none of those have gluten in them. Rice,
I mean, just
rice.
still
I get
check,
rice
but-
all the time. Right. I get rice all the time. Is
Oh,
rice
well, yes.
is rice gluten-free? Is rice gluten-free? Yes, it is. Yes.
And that just reminded me, oh my God,
Thank you.
another pet peeve of mine that I think it's actually kind of hilarious is when, because I've had celiac my whole life, and it's when
Right.
people come up to me and they say, and then I'll just pick pasta. They'll be like, is gluten-free pasta better than gluten pasta? Or like, what does it taste like? What's the difference? And I go, so actually, you can tell me. Like, actually, I have no clue. I have never,
Right.
I actually can't eat that, but you can eat gluten-free things. Like, it's not gonna combust in your mouth and explode you. You can actually eat something gluten-free and be fine. I can't eat anything gluten.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if I have any other questions.
I feel like, I mean, we've been going for a bit. I feel like we've covered a bunch of the most important things. I mean, is there anything
Yeah,
else in general you wanted to hit?
I feel like we can just do a little recap.
Yeah.
Just especially on the humor stuff, just to make sure the audience takes things
Yes.
seriously. Celiac disease is not something to joke about. Obviously, we're talking about close friends and family who know about it, and people with celiac disease, it's up to you how you talk about it, but obviously make sure you're also advocating for the fact that it is a serious autoimmune disease. You must avoid gluten. You may not eat it. Do not eat gluten. And
No.
it's not funny to actually joke about actually doing that, but sometimes it does help to make light of your situation if the gluten-free diet has been stressful for you, which I know it has for a lot of people, including myself. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear that up just to make sure that our audiences know. Just make sure you take the things seriously that are important, but
Yes.
also have fun.
I completely agree. I think if you're, as a friend, if you're worried about are you joking too much or is the joke not funny or etc., talk to the friend. Maybe that friend, or maybe before you even joke, I think you should check in with them
Yeah.
and be like, hey, like, is like, would it be annoying to you if I joked about this? It might seem a little awkward, but
Yeah.
like it is like I think that'll make your friendship closer, honestly, because you're able to have that
Yeah.
level of trust and honesty with each other.
Yeah, and sometimes humor can honestly help advocate as well. If you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna put my burger on your plate, you're almost explaining cross
Yeah.
contact and that type of thing. So, just make sure you use it wisely. And if anybody's actually asking for clarification, don't make a joke of it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that was something important to go over just because, you and I both use humor as a coping mechanism.
course.
So, I definitely think that is important. And also to friends and family, if you have questions, just ask. It's
Yeah.
okay.
And on that note, I have a package I'm about to mail to you. It may or may not explode a bunch of flour in your face, but don't worry about it.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be the new crime lord that just mails people flour, a bunch of flour.
Okay. Well, that's a wrap on Celi-Yap. Ooh, that kind of rhymed.
Celi-Yap.
Ooh, Celi-Yap.
Celi-Yap. Okay.
See you next week.
See you next week.